Africa, Nigeria, tax is not a technical issue. Tax is power. Okay, listen, pay attention, Africa. You see, in my previous video, I told Nigerians to do the About Women of 1929 if they want to be safe. Some people tell me in the comment section, town crier, we can pay tax. Tax is not our problem. Listen, let me tell you something. The issue is not about paying tax. The issue is what happens after you must have finished paying tax. You need to understand something. Tax is not a technical issue. Tax is power. In 21st century, tax is power. You see, in Nigeria, the Federal Inland Revenue Services of Nigeria signed a memorandum of understanding with French tax authority. Some of you don't understand what that means. Let me teach you what that means. I will break it down. Listen, pay attention. Whoever controls your tax revenue, controls your data. And in 21st century, data literally means everything about you. Data means your life. Whoever controls your data revenue controls your priority. Whoever controls your tax controls what is fundable. And it controls who survives policies. Listen, when French tax authority say they are going to help Nigeria collect tax better, you don't understand what that means. Let me teach you what that means, because I am the voice of Africa, the modern day town crier. Pay attention. You see, when we talk about colonization, colonialism did not start with guns. No. The colonial master did not just come and start carrying guns in Africa. No. First, they came as advisors. Advisors came first. Accountants came first. Administrators came first. That's what they came as. In disguise. Okay? That's what they came as. That is what they came. They didn't come with guns first. They came as advisors. They came as accountants. They came as administrators. And then they came as service reforms. These service reforms was disguised as what? Call to man and warrant chiefs. They set these structures in place before they ask us to pay. And when we say we will not pay, they use the system they have already established, okay, to apprehend those. Yes. Now, when France says we are going to help you control and collect your tax better, do you know what will follow? What will follow is loss of your economy control. Your policies will be engineered externally. And that will lead to gumbo diplomacy and Machiavellian manipulation, which I've been warning since 2016. I've been warning about gumbo diplomacy. This is what it will lead to. Thirdly, extraction will be disguised as what? Administration. You need to understand something, that when African tax logic is being engineered from the conceptual West, it's going to lead to what? Informal economy penalization. Informal economy will be punished. Local realities will be ignored and poverty will be criminalized. You need to understand that taxation was the backbone of the colonial systems. Taxation was their backbone. And currently, France is gradually losing her grip in all the Francophone-speaking countries in Africa. Is being chased away. You need to understand that when African French-speaking countries were regaining independence, France made sure that they went into agreement that their money will be printed for them from Paris. And now they are losing that grip, so they need to come to a giant of Africa who was not formerly her previous colony, but for her to get grip on her, France has to come what? As a technical assistant in collecting tax revenue. You think it's ordinary. It is not ordinary. Now, when they were collecting our taxes, what did they do as colonial government? They built roads and railway. Our people clap for them. They built cities. Our people clap for them. But what you don't know is that these roads led from the mine to the ship, from the plantation to the port. Africa was the engine, Europe was the driver. When you go to Nigeria today, the good roads The railway that the colonial masters built and constructed all led from the place where they took our natural resources to the place where they are exporting it. He never led to your houses. He never led to Babatunde's house, to Okonkwo's house, or to Musa's house, to Edidion's house. No, it led from the mine to the ship, from the plantation to the port. Africa was the engine, Europe was the driver. This was exactly what I said early this year, even before this tax reform started. I have already saw this and I spoke about it. Watch the video and see.
Roads were built, yes, but not for Africans. They led from the mine to the ship, from the plantation to the port. Africa was the engine, Europe was the driver.
Europe was the driver. That was what I was warning. You need to understand something. Time has changed. When the colonial masters were here, what did they use? They used physical taxation. They used one and chief to collect our taxes. They forced it out of our hands. That's what they did. They forced it out of our hands. Do you understand? To fund colonial what? Administration. It was not for our own betterment. To fund colonial administration. Because the reason why Europeans tax Europeans is different from why Europeans tax Africans. And it's different why your government today in your different African nations are taxing you. It is called colonial taxation. Do you understand? You need to understand that they impose cash crops on Africans. But not for us. Not for our own good. But for European good. That's what you need to understand. That this system was to serve them. It was to serve them. They drew borders for us, not for our own unity. No. But for what? They drew borders to control our movement and our survival. Now time has passed. That practice has become Shibolite and antediluvian. They have brought a new update. What is the new update? Tax reforms. Tax reform is the new update. That is the new update. Because whoever controls your tax, controls your data. Whoever controls your tax, controls what is fundable. Whoever controls your tax, controls who survives the policy. That's what they are doing. Time has changed. And they are changing with the changing time. But you are still left behind because you are still waiting for colonization to come as it was before. No. This is a new package system of colonization. Taxation is power. Whoever controls it controls you. And now, Nigeria have gone in alignment with the French tax authority. This is a new colonization, disguised as what? As technical assistant. You need to wake up. You need to do the readful. Because tax without trust is dangerous. This is extraction disguised as administration. This is how colonization started. And this is a new form of colonization. Standing before you, but you don't recognize it. You think it's about payment. It's not about payment. It's about what it is. You must do the Aba women of 1929. You must do the Yara Atensewa in Ghana of 1900. You must do what we, the Sierra did in which year? 1898. When they say we must pay hot tax, we say we will not pay. 1898. You must stand and defend and say no. And I tell you for a fact, Nigerians, the day you rise up and say no to tax without accountability, I will take the next available flight. I will be in Lagos and Abuja. And I will join you to say no to tax our brothers in Africa. And if I don't have fight money, I will tell my ancestors to give me to the reporting and I will be there with you. I promise I will be in the street with you and say no to such imposition of exploitation in Africa. Stand up. Tax is not about payment. Tax is not a technical issue. Tax is power. I repeat, whoever controls your tax controls your priority, controls your data, controls what is fundable. Africa, he controls who survive the policy. This is a new colonization disguised as administration. Africa, wisdom. The principal thing